Good morning, guys. How are we doing? Hope you're good. Welcome to the morning show. As soon as you're on, please do make sure you click the like button. Make sure you comment. Let me know that you're here. So I wanted to do this morning show. I was watching last night Harry's Heroes, I think it was called. It's basically when Harry Redknapp, who's, for those who don't follow football, he's a famous manager, really good guy. And he wanted to bring basically back a load of football professionals to see if they could play their one last match. And it was a really interesting watch. It was great fun. It was a fun watch. It was great to see some of the old footballers kind of coming back to play. But I could not believe how out of shape that a lot of these footballers were. One of the reasons I didn't really know about the programme, one of the guys in the Brotherhood mentioned it, so I thought, I'm going to watch on catch up. I was sitting there and I was like looking at these footballers who were once in prime shape. Really, probably some of the fittest guys around because, professional footballers train probably every day or good 5-6 times a week, and that was part of their job. And, when you got them all together, you could see that there was a couple of bulges coming out of the stomach. That's part and parcel, I guess, of getting older. Some worse than others. And I could not believe that when it come down to the weighing in and atoning for the body fat and everything else that was going on there, the state of these guys, how they had let themselves go completely, and it absolutely just baffled me. And I think it's the difference in attitude between all of those football players about wanting to improve their fitness, about wanting to change the way that they look, about wanting to actually go, do you know what, I've got to commit more to this. And there was one on there, Ruddock. I don't actually know his first name. I don't know who is Ruddock. But, they're talking about saying you're on the verge of a heart attack, you're on the verge of a stroke. And he had this attitude where he was a bit of a lad, he's a joker, I get it. And I genuinely feel like, when I was watching, I was going, that is just purely a mask. That is just purely a mask. That is just purely a character. He went on a fucking cruise, I think after the first game, after being told that he was dangerously high on his, he was dangerously overweight, that he was like on the verge of a heart attack. And then he fucked off on a cruise, started pissing it up, and you see clips of him going, yeah, like that, and just, and I think that the attitude towards his own health was shocking, because it's not just him, he's got a wife and kids. And when I look at that attitude, I've got to turn the telly down, I forgot to turn the telly off, 2 secs. So when I look at that attitude towards his own health, I'm baffled, I'm shocked. And I know that attitude is insecurity. I know it is. Psychologically, it's, he is hiding the fact that he's in a shit state by joking and laughing about it, which is a real shame. And you can see the attitude of some of the others, losing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 kilograms. And it's quite dangerous, and unless we're careful now, as in you guys are going to end up like that. Okay, if you keep neglecting yourself, if you keep having that attitude where it's never going to happen to me, if you keep having that attitude where, I'm going to sort this out eventually, you might not have that fucking chance, because it might end up getting that bad that the heart disease will end up kicking in. Like, if you end up having such a big stomach and you become overweight, you put pressure on all of your organs for them not to run or functionally. Morning, guys. How we doing, Andy and Alan? And it's serious, guys. The effects of being overweight, the effects of neglecting your body and abusing it will end up catching up with you. And you might think to yourself, you don't give a fuck, but I'm sure that there has to be some inkling of you deep down that does. And there has to be some consideration for your family and other people, because it's not just you that it affects, it's the worry of your partners and your children. And when I was watching that Ruddock's wife, become upset because she was worried about him. You know, and I just think to myself, fucking hell, it's, you know, there's a bigger picture to play here. There's a bigger part that you have to play here. And it's not just your health, it's the worry of everyone else. And you know, and all of those guys used to be in a bang in a routine, right? So what, today they all play to what, 35? So most of them have been out of the game maybe 15 years. Most of them were like late 50s and then around that. But just because you get to your 50s, it doesn't mean that you have to completely keep, like, each one of them had a drawer of shit that they went to. Custard creams, sweets, you know, they had these drawers that they allowed themselves to eat from. And it baffled me, again. And they're doing everything they can to, it seems, to continuously keep putting weight on and keep neglecting themselves nutritionally. So how can you avoid ending up in that state or being in that position? Well, I always have a saying is that how you live your life now is how you live your life in 10 years. So when those footballers would have finished, when they would have like got to 30, let's say for argument's sake they finished their career at 35, the training stops, the routine stops, the habit stops, the regime, and then all of a sudden you're by yourself. You know, and I can't imagine how difficult that transition can be, because you're playing in front of 50,000 people. The next thing, you're at home alone. Mentally, that can be torturous, and I get that, and I understand. Like, I don't get that personally because I've never played in 50,000, but I get the transition of having structure and then suddenly there's nothing. And obviously, a lot of those footballers and their coping mechanism, you can see and visualise it. There's a lot of drinking going on. There's a lot of eating going on. And that is a lot of comfort eating and drinking, most likely, because the wonder years are gone, right? It's very difficult for them to deal with. They suddenly come out of this process, they fucking eat and drink shit, they allow themselves to lose, like, everything they used to stand for. And suddenly we have, like, I don't know how many players there were, about 10, 11 overweight footballers that are trying to play football again, where a bunch of kids of 14 are running rings around them. And then, so for you, like, you know, I know you're not a footballer, but you have to think about your future. You have to think about where you're going to be in 10 years' time, 5 years' time, in a year's time. Is it going to continue the way it's going for you? Are you going to continue to think more about your health, or are you going to keep putting it off and neglecting it and abusing the body? Because when the body gets older, it's harder to do anything about. Metabolism slows down, you know, you slow down, your flexibility and movement slows down. Okay, it's harder to get in the gym, it's harder to lift the weights, it's harder to go running, it's harder to do the sprints. So the key is to attack it right now, wherever you are. Bang, attack it right now. And not allow yourself or life or your emotions to control your actions, as in emotionally eating, emotionally drinking, because things are not going well. Now, I just don't want that for you. And it's something that you should think about. And every time you think about neglecting yourself or missing a workout or consuming from the junk cupboard or drinking more alcohol, think of those footballers on that Harry's Heroes and think about how slowly they have gone downhill, okay, with their weight, with their health, after being athletes. And you have to think about the implications of other people in your family and in your life that need you, and they don't need you to be having a heart attack or suffering with heart disease or putting your body at more risk of illness. You have to be on top of your game all of the time. It's not just you. There's children, there's grandchildren, there's wives, there's all of these people. Okay, and you must make sure that you're taking those guys into consideration. You must put yourself first. You can't keep putting it off, burying your head in the sand. It's really, really important that you start focusing on yourself, because how you live now will dictate how you live the next 5 to 10 years. All right, guys, hope you have a great day. Catch you soon.